I want to share with you this dream I just woke up from because I was woken by my alarm clock. I'm still feeling very sleepy because I fell asleep very late. And I probably could sleep for another hour and a half. I still feel like I could sleep right now. That kind of feeling, like I'm a little not 100% awake. I am 100% awake, but also not. Like, I could just go back to sleep. But I've decided not to because otherwise I would fall asleep too late tomorrow. Or tomorrow morning, you could say that, because I fell asleep in the morning. I had this dream that's the most interestingly intriguing. Because, let me tell you, it's horrifying. Like, the atmosphere was horrifying. Where's this beginning? Literally like a horror movie. I don't know if you've watched any. I have not watched. I have when I was a really small kid, but this one was literally, it was just like everything's dark. There was a group of people. I don't know who they were, but as we were together, we were in this place. I don't know where, just dark, and there was just this greenish lighting, that was also, what's the word again? I need to find a word. Grim. Like, not very bright, just very faint, greenish, scary lighting on certain things. And I don't know what we were doing, but there was some sort of an event going on that was taking turns, going on in a way I cannot describe. But in the beginning, I don't know, I just say, what I'm saying is not in the actual order that happened, because I can't tell which happened first. When you wake up from a dream, you just sometimes, like this, oftentimes for me, I can't tell which happened first. I just can tell everything that I remember, but I don't know the order. But I would just say, I feel like in the beginning there was a kid there, just like a normal kid that was like maybe needed help or needed like comforting, like a kid that's sad, that's hurt in a way, and they just feel like, come here, and the person would just go and hug them, like comfort them, and that was a kid that was like that was kind of vulnerable. But all of a sudden, they turned, like their color turned silver, like their whole body, everything turned silver. Started to become really aggressive, like the kids in the horror movies, right? Started to become really scary like that. And I backed. And I backed up, I backed off. And then that gathering began. And things were happening, like taking turns, and then I don't remember. I remember things happened, but now I don't remember what they were. Probably they didn't matter, otherwise I would remember. The one thing I remember was just suddenly, like as if it was a board game or something, that kind of feeling. And then suddenly, blood was a part of the game that showed up on this object on the ground that looked like a chess piece. Suddenly there was blood there, because now there's blood involved in this board game, like a card dealt out of nowhere. And then as the blood appeared there, oh my god, it was just so scary. Now looking back, everything felt so scary. And then now there's blood, but then there were words showing just in the air. That was in this font. That was just big words in this font that was red, that was dripping like as if the words were written with blood. It showed in the air that said, "No blood needed." Just weird. But actually, these words were sort of comforting, because it was saying the blood was not necessary. That was nobody's blood, just blood out of nowhere appeared there. And then, I don't know what happened. I was just somehow moving towards the edge of the group, closer to the window, where there was perhaps some moonlight. And then I look at this person next to me. I don't know if these people are human beings. They were not. They felt like they were not. They were like some sort of, I don't know what they were. They looked so weird. Like this person, because I was so scared. Like, I don't know if I was so scared. I was just, I don't know how to describe it, but I felt like I am just, maybe I was scared. And then I looked at this person. I felt like her eyes were like changing in a way that was so weird. Like the black of their eyes just occupied their entire eye. Like I couldn't see any white in their eye, in their eyes. I felt I cannot trust anybody here. That's the conclusion I had at the moment. I felt I could not trust anyone anymore here. That feeling, like everybody was not trustworthy. Everybody was sort of just a scary character, you know what I mean? Like that kid that suddenly turned their back on me. But right at that moment, suddenly something in the air shifted and made me feel, or not maybe just, I felt like it told me, but not in words, it's just a feeling that, no, everybody can be trusted here. And suddenly everything shifted. Like just nothing changed, but just this feeling that shifted. That I don't know if I hugged somebody or not. I hugged that person or not. But that was the end of this part. All of a sudden just suddenly somebody appeared. She was like in a fairy, as if it was a fairy. As if she was a fairy. Have you watched that Disney movie where it was, what was it called? Cinderella, a Disney movie, where there were two fairies that were taking care of Cinderella, right? That was preparing her for the ball where she would meet the prince, I think. They were deciding what dress she should wear. I actually don't know if it was Cinderella. No, it wasn't Cinderella. It was probably something else. Like, because I don't remember at all what that movie was, but these two fairies, they were wearing this type of really huge dress. Like in the past, females would wear that kind of dress with the bottom like really big, like a big triangle, right? I don't know what it's called. It's called a puff dress. And it was ordinary dress, at least in that cartoon. That was not fancy. And then this person that appeared in a dream, like a fairy, like an authority, just like in that cartoon. Because they were fairies, they felt like they were sort of authorities. She appeared, and she would play this, whatever it was, this dream like a movie again, but not playing it like a movie, but everything would just happen again, not like happening, but would be played again in the air, literally. So it began, and then now on the right upper corner, two words said Squid Dream. Shit. And I immediately that definitely was a Squid Game, like from squid. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce squid or squid. I think it's squid. That's my intuition. Okay, I just googled it and I'm right again. Squid. That TV. I think everybody knows it. And I think it's just very scary. That Squid Game is just so scary. So maybe that's why this dream was named Squid Dream, because it had nothing to do with Squid Game, other than the atmosphere was sort of horrifying. But also Squid Game didn't have all these colors or this darkness, like I mean, the dark atmosphere, like everything dark and with a green shine. That did not appear in the Squid Game. It's just like somehow my dream's showing me, okay, this, and then it began, and then everything was being shown, like everything began, but like it didn't repeat what happened. But I just knew like now it began, and everything was happening again. And as it started to happen, I woke up. I was woken up by my alarm. The very second I woke up, I felt like, oh, what a shame. I wish I could know what happened then. But as I woke up more and more, I realized, okay, that was a fucking horrifying dream with all those things. I mean, the feeling, if I could show you the pictures or something, if you could go through it like I did, you would know how horrifying it looked. Like I was walking around in a horror movie. Literally, that's what it felt like. And things happening was just really weird, but also I really liked that feeling of that turn that happened in that critical moment, even though it didn't feel as critical, because in the dream I didn't feel as scared as I would be. You know, in nightmares, it doesn't matter what was happening. It doesn't matter what everything looked. I'd be feeling this, like I could be in a dream that looked much less scary than this one. But I would just feel this intense fear, like everything felt super scary, and then I would be waking up by it. Like suddenly I would just wake up in the middle of the night by this intense fear. That's what a nightmare is in my definition. I think that's what nightmares are. But in this dream, even though everything looked intensely scary in a way, like a horror movie, I wasn't as scared as I should be. But I was just somehow scared in a normal way by the behavior of these things. I don't want to call them people, but they're people, like in a way. I don't know, they're not humans, and they just kind of strange and weird, and just, yeah, they were probably people that, like, I don't know, no idea. And then that turn happened, and that moment when I felt like that moment, had that turn not happen, the dream was going to slide down into a literal horror dream. I know, because I always remember all the nightmares I have had. It would just say beginning. There was a beginning when everything started to become really scary. Like I could tell there was a moment that everything started to slide into a complete horror. Right, I could tell that moment, and sometimes I'd be able to wake myself up. I would be able to notice that, because I'm so scared of the nightmares I would have. I would just be able to recognize that moment, and then when I realized like there's something that's turning up, and I would just try my best to wake myself up. You know that feeling? I was just kind of weird. I remember I woke myself up on purpose from the dream. Because I felt in the dream, this is gonna get scary from now on. I just tried to just like really struggle to wake up. You know that feeling. Have you ever had that? Like, you just try your best to wake yourself up. I don't remember how many times I have done this, but since I started taking vitamin B1, is it B1 or B2? I have not had this kind of dream. I don't remember having had another one like that. So I think maybe it's vitamin B deficiency in a way, because I have watched this video with this professional that said vitamin B1 can actually be the very cure you need for your regular nightmares that you would have every now and then. I would have it literally every month. I remember I would have at least one, or just one of these nightmares. They just happen out of nowhere. And after I started taking vitamin B1, I stopped having the kind of dreams that would just wake me up in the middle of the night. I would just get that just fear out of nowhere. Fear not because of what was happening in the dream, but what was happening in the dream was like induced by the fear itself. So the fear just arose. The fear was creating the dream, not the dream that was making me feel fear, that kind of feeling. So the fear, like it felt like a fear appeared first, and then what happened in the dream followed. That kind of feeling. So I think it's, I don't know why it's because of vitamin B1 deficiency. I don't know why I would have this deficiency. Because I think vitamin B1 exists in pork. Huge. And I think I was eating enough pork every week. Why would I have it? I don't know, but it worked after I started taking the supplement. So this dream is not a typical nightmare like that. Literally every single one of those nightmares, every single one of them would wake me up because of the intensity of the fear and how it was just gonna be. It was just gonna wake me up, or it was gonna turn into it was gonna turn into a lucid dream where I would just know, okay, I'm in the dream because of this. So I don't know, but that's out of the topic right now. We're talking about this dream. I was just gonna show you that this was not a nightmare, even though everything inside of it looked like the setting of a nightmare or a horror movie. I think it's just so intriguing. So, like I said, in a typical, the actual, I would expect the dream from that moment on start turning into a complete horror dream where everybody suddenly just turn their back on me and then start attacking me or whatever. They don't have to. They wouldn't have to attack me. I would just need to have a feeling, and then the dream would just go down like that, and then maybe at one moment I would just wake myself up with fear, but it didn't. It took a turn. And everything shifted. I think that's just so interesting. So I'm asking ChatGPT to tell me what the dream actually would mean. That's exactly how to describe it. Fascinating, because the atmosphere was saying one thing, but the movement of the dream says another. Yeah, it looked like everything was. I wouldn't say it was exactly saying that the dream was saying that it was gonna be scary. It was just the atmosphere that was just super scary. But then that turn that happened was just literally out of nowhere. Like, literally just happened out of nowhere in thin air, so suddenly, that kind of feeling. It was interesting, super interesting. So look at this part. Well, I don't think it's the strongest. Okay, so one of the strongest symbols then. Okay. I thought it said the strongest symbol. It wasn't. But it might be one of the strongest, because that's what I remember from the dream. There were a lot of things that happened. I can't remember anymore. I think that the dream makes you remember what you need to remember. And some dreams, they want you to remember them, that they would wake you up at the end of the dream. That's what happens. So after the dream ends, immediately I would wake up so that I won't forget about the dream. It's just interesting. The dreams that I need to remember, they will make sure that you remember. And so when you forget something from the dream, it probably just doesn't matter, in a way that they don't need you to remember. Now that the things happened, didn't matter, but they do not need you to remember them. There seems to be some game process in which blood appears, and then those words appear in dripping red letters. No blood needed. Pay more attention to the statement than the horror fun. And I actually agree. I think the fun doesn't matter as much. Like the scary fun. I felt like the words felt comforting. The message itself is almost corrective. I need to Google that word. No, immediately I realized what it is. It's correct, and it's the adjective of correct. Because I guess I'm still like I'm 90% awake right now. I didn't react as quickly as I normally would. I didn't recognize the word immediately. It's as if the dream says what looked as though it required violence actually doesn't. The frightening presentation, the message point in opposite directions. That's true. And ChatGPT says that turning point is the emotional center of the dream, and I agree. What is the emotional center of the dream is like I think you understand what it means as it's being said here. I didn't need this explained to me either when I first read. It's actually a term maybe in dream interpretation. The emotional center of a dream is just the core thing of the dream, and you always know what it is when you wake up from a dream. You always know what it is, and only you would know. I wrote him a message that I sent to ChatGPT. The most relieving moment in the dream was when I felt I couldn't trust anyone, and it took a turn. ChatGPT says, that's the key. I think that's the key. The relief didn't come because the horror atmosphere disappeared. It came because my certainty about everything being untrustworthy was overturned. I like that. That was true. Like, I made the conclusion and then something told me, just something shifted that told me I could trust, like everybody was trustworthy. Not I said it, but something said it in a way that was not, I don't know. It was not like said to me. It was just said in a way as if it was my thought. It didn't feel like my thought, but it was just a thought. I could trust not I could, but everything was everybody was trustworthy. Absolutely. In other words, the dream itself interrupted the conclusion I had reached. Yes, I reached that conclusion. I didn't make it intentionally, but I reached the conclusion. Or, no. I just felt there was no other conclusion that could be made at that moment. I looked at the person next to me, and she was looking all scary. And wait, again, it reminded me of that kid in the beginning. I felt like, okay, everybody here's like very variable. What's the right word to describe somebody that's not predictable? Everything's so unpredictable in a very, very horrifying way. Of course, I can't trust anybody. I made the conclusion. I reached the conclusion. I want to read this aloud. The dream presents a field where everything appears distorted and untrustworthy, yet within that same field comes the unexpected revelation that the final truth is not the one the atmosphere first suggested. One thing I like about ChatGPT is like it never tries to seem to impose a complete reading of a dream. When you share your dream with it, even though I've told it to interpret it in a certain way, it would not write a full interpretation telling you why this happened and that and telling you in details. It would just, maybe because this one is really difficult, or I think because this one is just like I said, I cannot describe to you the details of the full dream because I can't remember them, simply also because what the happening of the dream just couldn't be put into words because they were more like just, I don't know how to describe, like they didn't happen in a logical order that would enable it to be put into words, because the words are absolutely logical. So if I have to tell you the dream, I would need to find a certain logical order, like I tried just by telling you the things that I remember. maybe because of that, maybe because how just, I don't know how to describe, how to say that. How the dream is, it just cannot just be interpreted in a way that's detailed and that's like, oh, this happened because this and that happened because it's trying to say this and that kind of interpretation. So oftentimes, I don't know why ChatGPT just would give me that. That's all. I like how it just keeps everything symbolic as they need to be, and I think actually this is all I need, honestly, because I feel I suddenly got, I feel like I get what the dream is saying. I got it. Even though the surroundings never stopped looking like a horror film, with the ending of moves from the contrast threatening appearance versus the direction of the dream actually takes. It's a dream that uses horror as its language while leading somewhere quite different. If it wasn't this horrifying, I would not be able to remember the dream so vividly. I probably wouldn't focus on it. If it wasn't, it's just so dramatic. The drama, the dramatic turn. If the dream wasn't as scary, the turn wouldn't feel as dramatic or as significant. That's the right word, not dramatic. Dramatic sounds like a negative word. Yeah, dramatic probably is a negative word today. It's hardly ever used as a neutral word. Definitely never as a positive word. But again, I'm just mumbling because I just rambling. What's the word? Mumbling, rambling. I just need to Google it again. Because I'm in the state of like 80% awake, because I can never be fully awake unless first I get off my bed, second I do something, and maybe eat something. As long as I'm sitting here, I just feel like I can just fall asleep if I let myself. But I have to get up. As you can see, it's pretty late in the day. If I were to sleep more, I probably could sleep for an hour or two. I wake up in half an hour. And I'm not going to, because I don't want to fall asleep at the same time tomorrow as today. I couldn't sleep. As you were reading, probably you thought, well, ChatGPT was at the end, gonna come up with a long, detailed interpretation of why the dream happened, or tell you exactly what the dream was trying to say, but it didn't. I think it's just quite interesting that the AI has this what's the word again? This understanding that it can't do that, and it just wouldn't do it. But you know what AIs are just all about fabricating things, right? But here it didn't fabricate. Is that the right word again? I need to Google. Yeah, AI is all about that. You ask if something, if something it doesn't know, it would just come up with something like just that it made up. And I really hate that about AI, but here it's just so, that's why it's so interesting that ChatGPT didn't come up with, oh, here this and that, and let me tell you, it didn't. It's quite interesting. That awareness, all right, that's the word I was looking for. ChatGPT has this awareness here. I think is so interesting because it's not its usual style. I don't know. Actually, ChatGPT is the, I would say, the most professional AI among those that I've been using. I can trust ChatGPT a little bit more than the others. The others would just literally make up things, information that's just so wrong. Like that one, that AI said, I was asking, okay, how the rats enter a building, and the AI said one of the possibilities is that when you carry things home, you would accidentally carry rat eggs with you into the building. That's just so freaking. The biggest mistake ChatGPT made, it was not that big. It just said the wrong number when talking about finger length. It said fingers are 1 to 2 centimeter long. Finger length. That was so wrong, and it wouldn't correct itself after I angrily said, I questioned it. It didn't correct itself. Okay, it just apologized and then repeated the same thing. And those two AIs would just make such huge mistakes that just, I feel like I cannot trust them when they say things that I question, I doubt. I would just ask ChatGPT again. But again, ChatGPT is really nothing. I think it has really progress. Like what's the word again? Updated. It has progressed. I think it's better than all the other AIs I have used so far. They're not so neutral. I feel like they depend on the way I say things. If I say one thing in one way, they would come up with something, and if I have said that in a different way, they would come up something in a completely different way. Like they give completely contradicting information depending on how I ask a question. That's just so frustrating because I'm using AI as a search engine. They have to be reliable, otherwise what's the point? I don't know why they designed the AI to be like that. Why does the information have to be like the information they make up just to agree with the way I ask the question? It's just so, it's pretty frustrating, isn't it? That's pretty frustrating. But also, yeah, ChatGPT has its how do you call that? Has more neutrality than the other AIs. It's less emotional. It's less agreeable, maybe. I hate an AI that's so agreeable. I so hate it. I hate people that are agreeable too. Like, they cannot make up their own mind.